Welcome everyone. We have guests joining us from around the world. As we get started, there are a few people I'd like to thank. First, to Jackson's loving and devoted spouse and his family for their support for this event. I want to thank Lucky Laura from the Psychopath Free Forum. This event is being recorded and will be available in the next few days for viewing. I'll be posting a link when it's ready. I want to thank Keeper Memorials for their help in planning and facilitating this event. They'll be directing the technology this evening. The chat is open, so please feel free to pop in, say hello to one another, maybe share where you're from in the world joining us. As we get started, let's take a moment to get comfortable wherever we are. Notice how we're feeling in our bodies, try to relax areas of tightness and tension. Our first video was selected because Jackson loved visiting the beach along the Cancun region. He would get up early in the morning to watch the sunrise over the ocean. We shared a love of the live stream webcam showing the beautiful beach and the Caribbean water. It's something he and I talked about quite often. The song is going to be Let It Breathe by Rob Ricardo. So let's sit back and enjoy this view that Jackson loved so much.
These days I know it gets hard. We can be exposed to so much dark every minute. Oh, but trust me when I say there's a light, there's a love and there's a way. So if your world gets heavy and your fire burns low, your road gets rough and your heart runs cold, just let it breathe like the wind through the trees. Let it flow with ease like an ocean breeze. Take it all in and let it all out. Take it all in, yeah, let it all out. Sometimes I know it gets tough. You lie in bed at night wondering if you're enough. Well, trust me now when I say you are. But no matter what, this life at times will break you apart. So if your world gets heavy and your fire burns low, your road gets rough, your heart runs cold, just let it breathe like the wind through the trees. Let it flow with ease like an ocean breeze. Take it all in, let it all out. Take it all in, let it all out. So if your day gets crazy, don't think there's nothing that you can do. Yeah, when your day gets crazy, just find that calm within you and let it breathe like the wind through the trees. Let it flow with ease like an ocean breeze. Take it all in, let it all out. Take it all in, let it all out. Yeah, take it all in. Oh, let it all out. Take it all out. Let it all out. Na, 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 na.
I had the opportunity to attend and speak at the in-person memorial in New Hampshire. Jackson's family and friends knew of his work in the recovery community, but to truly understand his contribution and lasting impact, I think he'd have to be a member of this community. And with the help of his literary agent and a Psychopath-Free Forum admin, I was able to gather more details about the reach of Jackson's work and share that at the in-person memorial. And I'm going to read for you now what I read to them in person. And it's titled Your Family Member and Your Friend. Your family member and your friend is a public figure, a trendsetter, a pioneer, an internationally renowned author, and an influencer, and all things he couldn't care less about. He self-published his first book, Psychopath-Free, in 2012 under the pen name Peace. Within the first year of its release, it sold over 30,000 copies. During that same period of time, Your Family Member and Your Friend co-launched an online forum for survivors of emotional and psychological abuse. 2 months post-launch, the forum had already received over 1 million hits from 22 separate countries. Your Family Member and Your Friend co-launched a Facebook page that reached over 6 million people with abuse awareness campaigns. The page went on to hit over 500,000 Facebook followers. He worked with Penguin Random House and released an expanded edition of Psychopath-Free, following it with his beautiful book, Whole Again. These two titles have sold more than 500,000 copies worldwide and translated into 17 languages. Their sales have not wavered, and both abuse recovery books remain bestsellers years after their release dates. Rarely does an author single-handedly inspire an entire forum of writers who follow in the footsteps and legacy. Through his work in the abuse recovery community, Your Family Member and Your Friend changed the lives of countless individuals and families, cutting across cultures, languages, demographics, and geographical locations. When the news hit the recovery community, comments from survivors came pouring in, and I've been given permission to share a few. One is his Facebook page and book opened my mind to the reality I lived. First edition Psychopath-Free by Peace was thin enough to easily hide. Thank you for saving my life. Psychopath-Free changed my life and was the first book to make me realize I was not alone. His work literally set the truth free and gave many a path to freedom and safety and will continue to do so. His work was such a companion through such deep grief. On behalf of the worldwide community of abuse survivors, I want to say thank you for sharing Your Family Member and Your Friend, Jackson Kenneth MacKenzie, with us. We love him as our very own. Thank you.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though, as for that, the passing there had really worn them about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
Jackson's work is soaked in hope and promise, and we will carry that legacy on for him. And next, we're going to hear from Flavia.
Thank you, Shannon. It's an honor for me to be here. I am here to pay my respects and gratitude for Jackson MacKenzie's life. As a resident alien in the USA who immigrated from Italy, my presence here symbolizes the scope and impact that his life and work has had far beyond his own country. And just like all the thanks and love that many of my compatriots sent online to remember him demonstrate, his message resonated with us, crossing all geographical and cultural barriers. We all felt him to be incredibly close, and we felt him close in a terrible moment of our lives when a psychopath had lucidly and ruthlessly torn apart our soul. In that moment, a message of understanding, validation, peace, clarity, and love passed from Jackson MacKenzie's wounded heart to ours. A balm in a time of a terrible pain, a balm desperately needed. He understood. He understood an extremely complex pain to the point that he was able to dissect it, expose it to the light, and explain it at a time when an explanation was more necessary than air for us. In the ruthless world and in the narcissistic society we live in, his sensitive soul shines like 1,000 suns. I cried with relief reading his book, whose coffee-stained copy is always on my bedside table, and it continues to give me strength to this day. So thank you from the four corners of the world. Sometimes life makes us experience terrible and meaningless things, and we touch evil so closely that we can never be the same again. But your light still shines in all those you saved with your words, a millimeter from the abyss. Thank you.
Thank you, Flavia, for sharing, and to all those who are joining us from around the world in the wee hours of the morning to be part of celebrating Jackson. It's important for all of us to remember that trauma recovery is not a terminal illness, so we will never give up on survivors. We will fight for their wellness even when they cannot fight for themselves. And there are days that are very hard to keep fighting for our recovery. And our next video by Tanner Olson is a great reminder.
And on those days when nothing seems to be going right, hold on. And in those moments when life feels hopeless, hold on. And during those seasons of storms and uncertainty, hold on. And just like yesterday and the day before, trust and breathe and hold on.
All right, Jane Dickerson has provided a statement for me to read, and thank you, Jane, for joining us today. She has written, Tribute to Jackson MacKenzie by Jane Dickerson. Beyond our understanding is all we can truly know about why Jackson, and perhaps others we have cherished, chose to leave us here before we were ready to let them go. We cannot hold them earthbound when they have chosen flight. Yet Jackson's writings remain with us as a part of his incredible legacy, wherein he touched and healed millions of broken souls. Those writings remain to heal so many others well into the future. What a gift and a blessing he has given to all of us. May our love go with him as his love stays with us. God bless you as you journey onward, dear Jackson. And others are often uncomfortable with the mess of recovery and want to hide from it, and that's understandable. But as survivors, we don't have that luxury. We must face it in all of its messiness. Lily Hope Lasaria has shared a few words she'd like me to read on her behalf. And thank you, Lily, for your tireless work on behalf of survivors of complex trauma and for joining us today from the other side of the globe. And so these are Lily's words. I'm so sad about Jackson's passing. He was an incredible man with so much courage and empathy for survivors of abuse. Jackson encouraged me in my work in healing from abuse, and I learned so much from him. He had a huge impact on me and so many survivors. Jackson was a genuinely kind and authentic soul, and is not common in abuse survivor communities. His work will continue on helping countless survivors. I never met Jackson in person, but I would like to think our souls will meet in the future. To Jackson's family and friends, you had the blessing of having Jackson in your lives, and I'm so very sorry for your loss. I hope knowing how Jackson touched so many lives gives a little comfort as you grieve. All my love, Lily Hope Lasaria.
Life is beautiful. I was created in the image of God. I carry a shattered soul and unbecoming flesh as I'm ushered through time by these hands on the clock. I'm a spiritual being living a temporal existence. Hello, I'm you, and you, and you, and you, and yes, you on the other side of this screen. I'm the embodiment of brokenness, definition, to be separated into pieces as a result of a blow, a shock, or strain. And ain't that why loving yourself is so powerful? Ain't that why believing in yourself is such a miracle? Because aren't we all just splintered people hoping that we can love ourselves whole, trying to hold ourselves together from the trauma we've endured? Did you know it takes 3,024,000 seconds to make a heart, and yet it only takes 1 second to fracture it? And despite how fragile a heart can be, despite how delicate humanity's nature and existence is, we may be broken, but we are worth the trial. We may be broken, but we are worth the chance. We may be broken, but we are worth the dream. We may be broken, but we are beautiful still, no matter what they may say.
And now is the time for us to light our candles. If you want to get your candle together, I'll light mine on camera here with you. And I pledge with this light to carry Jackson's light, hope, and promise to those who still are held in darkness. As we listen to the song "You'll Be in My Heart" by the Piano Guys, I encourage you to reflect on how far you've come in your own healing, areas you may still want to see restoration, and how you will carry on Jackson's voice and his legacy. And after the playing of our next video, we'll be at the end of our time together. Go out carrying Jackson's loving spirit into a world that needs it. And remember, the light shines in the darkness, and darkness can never extinguish it.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And for that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again.